Welcome back to our channel. In the tapestry of Hollywood legends, few names shimmer with the same elegance and quiet power as this beloved star. She rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most captivating figures of mid-century entertainment, a performer whose grace, wit, and vibrant personality left audiences completely spellbound. Her journey began in the glowing days of the late 1950s, a time when television and cinema were bursting with new energy. While many stars of that era were molded by studios, she stood apart. There was something unmanufactured about her charm, something natural and effortlessly magnetic. Every time she appeared on screen, the world seemed to pause for just a moment, drawn in by that unmistakable blend of beauty and warmth. Ho's early performances revealed a young woman who wasn't afraid to take risks. She could shift from playful humor to dramatic depth in the span of a single scene. Directors admired her professionalism. Audiences adored her sincerity. Long before the headlines and iconic roles, she already possessed that rare quality only true performers carry, a light that doesn't fade when the cameras stop rolling. With her expressive eyes and that unforgettable smile, she became a favorite among both filmmakers and fans. The camera didn't just capture her image, it celebrated it. There was a rhythm to her movements, a confidence in her presence that made her stand out even in a crowd of stars. Whether she was cast as a lively dancer, a spirited rebel, or a woman ahead of her time, she carried herself with a balance of strength and grace that defined an entire generation of leading ladies. As her fame grew, so did her influence. In an industry that often valued glamour over substance, she managed to bring both. Her performances shimmered with authenticity. She didn't simply play characters, she inhabited them, breathing real emotion into every role. Audiences saw someone who felt human, approachable, and genuine. And that relatability became her signature. Off-screen, she was known for her humility and quiet determination. Colleagues described her as thoughtful, endlessly curious, and fiercely dedicated to her craft. She studied every scene, every line, not out of vanity, but out of respect for the art of storytelling itself. Even in her earliest interviews, she spoke not of fame, but of passion, for dance, for acting, for life. Ho's first steps into the spotlight would become the foundation for a career that broke boundaries and reshaped expectations. She wasn't just becoming a star, she was setting the stage for something greater, something iconic. And as the 1960s approached, that spark of promise would soon ignite into a cultural phenomenon that forever changed television history. By the time the 1960s rolled around, her star had already begun to glow brightly. But it was one daring role, one unforgettable transformation, that would make her a symbol for decades to come. When she appeared as a masked heroine in a world of crime fighters and comic book legends, she didn't just play a character. She embodied independence, intelligence, and fearless charisma. Clad in a sleek, vibrant costume, she brought something revolutionary to the screen. Her version of the character wasn't a sidekick or a damsel waiting in distress. She was the one taking charge, solving problems, and outsmarting villains with poise and confidence. Week after week, audiences were enthralled not just by her action scenes, but by her ability to stand shoulder to shoulder with the men of Gotham and hold her own, sometimes even outshining them. For countless viewers, especially young women, she was more than entertainment. She was a revelation. In a decade defined by social change, she became an emblem of empowerment, proof that strength could be graceful, and that femininity and heroism could exist side by side. At a time when most television heroines were limited to supporting roles, she blazed a new trail with her intelligence and authenticity. And producers and fans alike quickly realized that she brought a new energy to the screen, a spark that felt both modern and timeless. Her portrayal wasn't loud or exaggerated, it was quietly powerful. She gave her character wit and warmth, transforming what could have been a comic gimmick into something deeply human. Every smirk, every clever retort, every confident stride became a statement. Women didn't need saving, they were capable of saving themselves. Her performance helped shape pop culture's evolving vision of female heroes. Long before the era of blockbuster superhero franchises, She gave television one of its first truly self-reliant women. She made courage look elegant. She made intelligence look radiant. And she made history without ever needing to shout it. Off camera, she remained grounded, always aware of what the role meant to those watching. In interviews, she often spoke about wanting young viewers, especially girls, to see themselves in her character, to believe that bravery wasn't limited by gender. She embraced that responsibility with pride and humility, becoming an inspiration far beyond the set. Even decades later, her portrayal remains iconic. Reruns, photos, and vintage collectibles continue to remind fans of that moment when television caught up with the future. A moment when a woman in purple tights and a confident smile rewrote what it meant to be a hero. And though many roles would follow, none would capture her essence quite like this one. This was the role that defined her, the moment that etched her name into pop culture's Hall of Fame. A character born from comic books, transformed by her talent, and immortalized by her spirit. Behind every photograph, every dazzling performance, there was a woman of remarkable depth. Away from the bright lights of sound stages and camera flashes, she lived a life defined not by celebrity, but by curiosity, compassion, and integrity. For her, acting was never merely about fame or applause. It was about expressing truth, about bringing emotion and honesty into a world that often prized illusion. Before her name ever appeared on a marquee, she had already spent years mastering an art form few knew about: ballet. That early training became the foundation of her entire being. Every movement she made, both on and off camera, carried the elegance of a dancer, controlled, expressive, and effortlessly graceful. Ballet taught her discipline, but it also gave her a profound appreciation for storytelling through motion, a quality that would later set her apart in Hollywood. N.T. Hose, who worked alongside her, often spoke about her work ethic with admiration. She arrived on set early, stayed late, and treated every production, no matter how small, with the same care and professionalism as a major film. She listened to everyone, from directors to crew members, with genuine respect. In an industry famous for ego, she stood out for her humility. Friends recalled that she had a contagious laugh and a knack for making people feel at ease. Despite her fame, she never acted like she was above anyone else. There was an ease in her company, a grounded presence that reminded others of home. She cherished real conversations, long walks, and moments of quiet reflection. Hollywood could be loud and demanding, but she found peace in small, simple joys. Her beauty, though constantly praised, was never what she valued most. She understood that the world saw her as glamorous, but those who knew her best described her as someone who radiated beauty from within. It was her kindness, her warmth, and her self-assured gentleness that drew people in. That authenticity was rare then, and it still feels rare now. And over the years, she remained deeply connected to her fans. She answered letters personally, took time to greet admirers at conventions and appearances, and never lost sight of the people who supported her journey. She believed in gratitude as a daily practice. Fame, to her, was not a trophy. It was a relationship built on trust and appreciation. And even as Hollywood evolved and newer faces took the spotlight, she continued to carry herself with poise. She was selective about the roles she accepted, preferring characters that reflected intelligence, humor, or heart. She didn't chase trends or publicity stunts. She focused on doing meaningful work that resonated with her values. Her friends would later describe her home as a sanctuary, filled with books, music, and mementos from her travels. She had an eye for art and an appreciation for the stories behind every object she collected. When she wasn't acting, she devoted her time to philanthropy and causes she cared deeply about, especially those supporting education and the arts. There was also a quiet strength in the way she faced personal challenges. Like anyone, she had moments of hardship and loss, but she never let bitterness take root. Instead, she approached adversity with dignity and a sense of humor. Her resilience wasn't loud. It was graceful, the kind that comes from knowing who you are and what truly matters. And by the time her career had spanned decades, she had achieved something far greater than fame. She had earned respect. The kind of respect that lasts, not because of glamour or nostalgia, but because of character. To those who admired her, she wasn't just a performer from another era. She was a reminder that success built on kindness, talent, and integrity will always stand the test of time. And though the world remembers her for the roles she played, Those who met her remember the person she was, thoughtful, genuine, and luminously human. As time moved forward and the entertainment world transformed, her legacy only grew stronger. The woman who once donned a heroic costume became something far greater than the character she played. She became a symbol of courage, authenticity, and grace. Her influence echoed quietly through generations of performers who followed, many of whom credited her for proving that women could be powerful, funny, intelligent, and commanding all at once. In her later years, she approached life with the same poise that had defined her career. She faced her challenges with humility and strength, meeting each new chapter not with fear, but with gratitude. Even when her health began to decline, she remained a beacon of positivity, her smile undimmed, her humor intact. Those who met her during that time often spoke of her calm energy, her ability to make others feel seen and appreciated. It was as if her greatest performance wasn't on screen at all, but in how she lived her life. And photographs from those final years reveal a woman at peace. Her hair streaked with silver, her eyes still full of light, proof that true beauty never fades. She carried herself with quiet confidence, content in knowing she had lived fully, loved deeply, and left something meaningful behind. Her interviews in later life often reflected a wisdom born from experience. She spoke about change, resilience, and the importance of kindness, values she had embodied since the very beginning. Today, her influence remains undeniable. Her portrayal continues to inspire modern reimaginings of strong female heroes. Fans, old and new, still celebrate her work, not just for nostalgia's sake, but because her presence continues to represent something timeless, empowerment wrapped in elegance. And every time her classic scenes resurface, viewers are reminded that she wasn't merely acting, she was teaching us what it means to be fearless, genuine, and human. Her story endures as a testament to the idea that fame may fade, but authenticity never does. And so, her light still shines, softly, steadily, and forever.